Hey guys, so I want to speak about a decision that the Supreme Court made recently regarding a free speech issue. So there was a woman in Denver, Colorado by the name of Lori Smith who has a company called 303 Creative in which she designs websites. And the Supreme Court made the decision that based on the First Amendment, freedom of speech, that she would not have to design a web page for a gay wedding. Um, when I first heard about this case, I actually thought it would fall under an issue of commerce, and if that were the case, it would kind of get into maybe violations of the '64 Civil Rights Act, even though people aren't protected under sexual orientation, but instead it went to freedom of speech, and I find this case kind of problematic. Um, so basically, uh, essentially, they're just saying like, yeah, it's not that she's denying service to people based on their sexual orientation, but she's saying she shouldn't have to basically create a product which I guess interferes with her religious beliefs. And I can kind of see how people would say, well, what if you were asked to design a website for a neo-Nazi group or an anti-American group or something like that? And something she said, it kind of, to me, it kind of shows it gives the game away. So in a quote, and I can't find the exact quote. I hate to say this, I'm gonna mention a quote, but she was basically saying how that she was receiving a lot of hate mail from people and saying that people were being intolerant of her Christian beliefs. And that's the thing we're kind of going at now, where it's kind of a game where people, the conservatives, they'll do is they'll point out how intolerant the intolerant left, how they're supposed to be so tolerant, but they're actually intolerant. And I'm kind of damn sick of it, because basically usually this intolerance has to do with you're not going to tolerate discrimination, you're not going to tolerate prejudice, you're not going to tolerate people's rights being violated, you're not going to tolerate people using their religion as an excuse to be essentially bad people. And then when you speak up about that, they say, well, you're intolerant of my beliefs. um, you should be able to, or yeah, you should be able to practice whatever beliefs you want. uh, Absence of belief even, but just the always kind of saying, well, you're being intolerant of my beliefs, and then doing things, and then when calling them out on it, you run back and you clutch your Bible and you hide behind it. I think the Supreme Court is being disingenuous with this. I think they know what they're doing. The decision was the usual 3-6 split. Not a big surprise there. And I think kind of the game was given away in the fact that Lori Smith really didn't have her case that she brought up was a hypothetical, and she kind of made up a case to get to the Supreme Court. And it wasn't like someone actually wanted her to design this website. She kind of said, well, hypothetically, if this happened. So we're kind of setting things up here. Uh, I think that we can tell the difference between doing something for a gay couple, and doing something for a hate group. And I know that hasn't been done yet. As far as I know, that framing hasn't been done, but I can see it happening. And maybe I shouldn't bring it up because maybe I'm doing the thing that I hate when people do. I'm creating a straw man argument. But the very tangible argument where it's saying it's going against my religious beliefs, where does that stop? I think think you should be allowed to practice whatever religion you want, but when it kind of gets into the role of commerce, and when it gets into the role of government, that's where it gets. I kind of have a problem with it, and I think this is basically just a slow erosion of things, um, of people's rights, and the whole thing. It kind of, at this point, I'm sadder than I am angry, because it's a different way of framing. I don't want to serve the coloreds, and I know a lot of people don't like it when you equate the queer rights movement to the civil rights movement for blacks. But all this stuff is tied together. If you find people who are kind of prejudiced, they're usually going to be misogynist, and then they're usually going to be homophobic. And I know people are going to say, well, what about, people of color who are homophobic? Yeah, the hate usually comes in clumps. It just does. It's when you find one, it's with the other. And this whole thing just kind of makes me sad because, quite frankly, well, I'll just say this, is that what type of world do they want to create? So if I'm saying I'm creating a law or a policy, the real marker should be, how does this thing actually affect you? So if you pass a law, for example, where you can't discriminate against gay people, does that tangibly really hurt you? And what they often find themselves doing, what the day I'm talking about are conservatives, is this intangible thing of, well, it's going against my beliefs. And you may say, well, that's very tangible. Well, I notice that these people will definitely pick and choose what beliefs they want to go with in that, whether, and I think in her quote, she talks about she has the same beliefs that Muslims, Jews, and Christians, millions around the world. And I'm just like, yeah, in all three of those beliefs, people will pick and choose what aspects of it they want to adhere to. So, the world we want to live in, I want to live in a world where whatever laws and policies get passed, it does not hurt people. And quit making this argument that that by people just trying to be treated as normal citizens is somehow an impingement on you. If with this, if someone wanting to have a gay couple wanting to have a website for their marriage is this great act of whatever against your beliefs, your religion, or you personally, then you're a weak person, your religion is weak, and your religion is flawed. That's what I think. And look, freedom of speech, freedom of belief, and freedom of absence of belief, I can say that.